शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करं। नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै। नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः। ॐ नमः परमहंसास्वादित चरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानस निवासाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय। So in the last session we finished up to I think verse 78, which is Sundarakanda in the Bala Ramayanam. We will start thereafter. Yeah, 78. We will start thereafter from Yuddhakanda, and we will perhaps finish Bala Ramayanam today, which would be the first sarga. ततः सुग्रीवसहितो गत्वा तीरं महोदध्येः समुद्रं क्षोभयामास शरैरादित्यसन्निभैः. Tataha means thereafter, after Hanuman comes back and reports the events that has happened in Lanka and things like that. A few words about Sundarakanda. Sundarakanda is the most beautiful chapter, most beautiful part section itself in the entire Valmiki Ramayana. And in Sundarakanda, I mean, we can see in detail the greatness of Sundarakanda when we go to Sundarakanda itself. But in Sundarakanda, one thing you will see is that the story of Rama keeps coming again and again. Hanuman keeps repeating it many times. Even when he's crossing the ocean, he narrates the story of Rama to all the Vignas that come on his way. And then he thinks of that story when he's in Lanka also, and then he narrates it to Sita Devi also. And then when he's coming back also, he narrates all the events that transpire in Lanka. When he narrates in one way to all his peers, to the Vanaras there. On his return, he narrates it in one way. He narrates it in great detail. So some really elaborate chapters you will find in Sundarakanda, one of which is Hanuman's description of what all he has seen in Lanka. But when he comes to Rama and narrates the story, he becomes very humble, and he doesn't show anywhere his greatness, that he has done like this, done like that, he has conquered these demons on the way. That he doesn't say. But when he's with his friends, with his Vanaras, he speaks about it in detail. But when it comes to Rama, very, very, what should I say, in brief, Hanuman narrates the story. Anyway, so after Rama hears about that story, the narration of what happened in Lanka, they decide that now they have to proceed to Lanka. So having decided, so tata Sugriva sahito gatva tiram mahodadhe tiram. Mahodadhi is the great ocean. So they go to the shore of the ocean along with Sugriva and others. So the entire Vanara Sainyam goes along with Rama. I mean, Rama, Lakshmana, and the entire Vanara Sainya headed by Sugriva now go to the shore of the ocean, and Samudram Kshobhayamasa Sharair Aditya Sannibhai. So Rama, now they have to decide on how to go to the other side of this ocean. So Lanka is on the other side. So they think that Samudra. So Rama's first thinks that I will pray to Samudra Devata, and he has to show us some way. He tries to show. He tries to do some. And he sits in meditation and tries to invoke Samudra Devata, but he doesn't come. And he doesn't come. Rama gets angry, and then he says some very humane aspects of Rama come out in this episode. So Rama tells Lakshmana, so Mrudurhi paribhuyate, he says. So these things, he opens up his heart to Lakshmana here and there in Ramayana, you will see, because Lakshmana is perhaps the most dear to him. So because he's his very close brother. So here he says Mrudurhi paribhuyate. In Yuddhakanda we will see that he says, I have been soft and kind and a good person all through my life, and because of that I have always been taken advantage of. Now even this Samudra is taking advantage of my goodness. So he says, so Mrudurhi paribhuyate is a quotable quote you can always say. Only he who is gentle is taken advantage of, he says. So Rama is telling about himself. Anyway, and then he says, Adya Ramasya Ramatvam Pashyantu Hariyuthapaha. He says, now I will show all these Vanaras what is the Ramatvam of Rama. So let them see what my prowess can be. So with that great rage, he looks upon that Samudra with great rage, as though to dry up the ocean now. So that is this Kshobhayamasa. I mean, he causes disturbance or whatever, this disturbance in the minds of Samudra Devata. Samudram Kshobhayamasa Sharair Aditya Sannibhaihi. So he threatens to use arrows and dry up the entire ocean. So that's the disturbance he causes in Samudra's mind. दर्शयामास चात्मानं समुद्र सरितां पतिः समुद्र वचनाच्चैव नलं सेतुमकारयत् दर्शयामास चात्मानं समुद्र सरितां पतिः. Saritam Patihi is the lord of all rivers, which is Samudra. So Saritam Patihi is an adjective to Samudra. So he now, and out of fear, now he comes and reveals himself. Darshayamasa Atmanam Darshayamasa. So he shows himself, he reveals himself, and then he tells that Samudra, he tells Rama that you don't have to do this, and then he will give a suggestion that there is one person called Nala in the Vanara army. He has a boon that whatever he throws on the ocean, so it doesn't. What should I say? It doesn't go down, doesn't sink. It just floats on the surface, and let him. So you have to need two things. First of all, the throne should not go down. The stone should not go down. It has to float. But then, even if it's floating randomly, how will you build a setu? So it has to. So two stones thrown on the ocean, they shouldn't be drifting away. They should be held together. So Samudra says, you ask Nala to throw the stone, and I will hold them together. So he gives this idea, and then Rama says, okay, using that idea, they start building this great setu. Samudra Vachanachaiva Nalam Setu Makarayat. So with that word suggestion that Samudra Devata gives, Nala builds this setu, Nala Setu. Or you can say Rama Setu. Tena Gatva Purim Lankam Hatva Ravanama Have Rama Sita Manuprapya Param Vridam Upagamat. So Tena Gatva, Tena means through that setu they go to Lanka. And after going, so the entire Yuddha he finishes in one half a line. So Tena Gatva Purim Lankam Hatva Ravanam Ahave. Ahave means in the Yuddha he kills, having killed Ravana. So Rama Sita Manuprapya Param Vridam Upagamat. So having killed Ravana, now he again is able to meet Sita. So Sita is brought to him, and on seeing Sita, he feels a little shy or ashamed. I don't know Vrida how to translate in English. So Vrida Mupagamat is he feels a little ashamed. So we will see why that is so. But then you see the entire Yuddhakanda, Narada finishes in half a line. But Yuddhakanda is the biggest kanda perhaps in the entire Ramayana. And then the Yuddha between Rama and Ravana is, so it is called, there is a particular Alankara called Ananvaya Alankara or something like that. So Rama Ravana Yor Yuddham, Rama Ravana Yor Yuva, that comes in Valmiki Ramayana itself, that you cannot compare Rama Ravana Yuddha with anything else. So Rama Ravana Yuddha is a simile or an example for itself. So such a great war happens between Rama and Ravana, and in that war he kills Ravana, and having killed Ravana, now Sita is brought to him. Of course, Vibhishana's Abhisheka is there in between. That comes a little later in Balaramayana. Then when Sita is brought to him, he feels a little ashamed. Param Vridam Upagamat. So why does he feel ashamed? So one of the Tikakaras is telling he feels ashamed because Ikshvaku kings are so great that they have even helped Devatas in the war. They have helped Devatas in the war. But whereas in this Rama Ravana Yuddha, he had to take the help of Vanara, so that he thinks about that and feels a little ashamed. But then that's from Lokaritya, from the viewpoint of human beings, he's feeling like that because human beings don't know the greatness of Vanaras. So that is what is going on in his mind. Of course, you can always, based on the storyline that transpires in Valmiki Ramayana itself, Param Vridam Upagamatis, he thinks that this Sita has brought back to him, but then she has stayed in somebody else's house, more so in a house of a Rakshasa for a few months. And then if he takes her, accepts her back, what will people think? This is one thing that Rama. So, like I told you, we have to approach Ramayana with an open mind. There are many things about Rama that makes him very human. That makes us relatable to him. One is this Mridurhi Paribhuyate, like I told. The other thing is not always, but often thinks about what will people think. So that is what makes him perhaps stick to dharma, that he should not get a bad name. So anyway, so these are some subtle things that we will observe. So I'm not making offhand comments, but we have to remember that Rama also thinks about what will people think. So what will people think if he accepts Sita who has stayed in somebody else's house for a long time. He thinks about that and feels a little shame. Tamuvacha tato Ramas Tamuvacha tato Ramah Parusham Jana Samsadi Amrishyamana Sa Sita Vivesha Jwalanam Sati. Tam means to that Sita he says a few harsh words. He says Jana Samsadi in the midst of all these Vanaras and Rakshasas. He tells, and Devatas also, of course, Devatas come later in the story, but Tikakaras are saying in the front of Devatas also, in front of all these people, Rama speaks a few harsh words. So this Jana Samsadi means in a congregation of people. So some Tikakara is saying because it is Jana Samsadi, he has spoken like that. Otherwise, he has great love for Sita. But then because he's in an assembly of people and he has to uphold or show what the ideal dharma is. So the dharma is you should not offhand immediately accept a lady who has stayed away and in somebody's houses. So that was the situation at that time. Anyway, let's not get into that as of now. When we go there, we will see by God's grace if that happens, if and when that happens. So Parusham Janasam Sadis, because these people are there, he says such words, but heart of hearts, he has great love for Sita and he has great trust in her. So, and then Sita also Amrishyamana. So she cannot bear. This is also another feature that we will see in Ramayana, is that Sita is a lady of great self-respect. Sorry. So this comes as one of the characteristic features of Sita Devi in Ayodhya Kanda, and then in Aranya Kanda also, and then in Yuddha Kanda you will see, and also Sundara Kanda you will see that she's a lady who doesn't compromise on her self-respect. So she cannot bear these words that Rama has said, and then she says, in fact, Rama actually what he says is, I have done what I have to do, which is to free you from the clutches of this Rakshasa, and now you are free to choose your own course. You can go to Bharata, Shatrughna, or Lakshmana, or Vibhishana and Sugriva. He says you're free to choose what you can do. So that word she feels very hurt because it is doubting her. And then what does she do? She Jwalanam Vivesha. So that Sati here means Pativrata. So she's Pativrata and she knows she's Pativrata, but then Rama is doubting her. So she gets hurt by that. So Jwalanam Vivesha is she enters fire. So she herself enters. In fact, she tells, so the course that she chooses, Rama gives her options. He tells her you are free to do what you want, and then she says, okay, the course that I choose is to go and jump into fire because I cannot bear these words that you are saying. So she asks Lakshmana, because then the entire, you think about it, the entire, what should I say, group of people, the only two people that she knows is Rama and Lakshmana. So Rama is being harsh to her. She requests Lakshmana, or you could say she orders Lakshmana, you please arrange a fire for me. I feel that is better for me. So Jwalanam Vivesha. This Sati word here, Shiromani Kara is nicely explaining. Satiभिः पतिव्रताभिः ईयते मनसा प्राप्यते. So Sati, and he also gives another explanation. Kincha satinam ihi sampattir yasyaha sa satinam paramadevatetyartha. So she's a great pativrata herself, and how great a pativrata she is that other great pativratas also look up to her as an ideal. Such a great pativrata she is. That is the meaning of those explanations. So that Sita decides that she will jump into fire. ततोऽग्निवचनात् सीतां ज्ञात्वा विगतकल्मषां कर्मणा ते नमहता त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं सदेवर्षिगणं तुष्टं राघवस्य महात्मनः. So tato Agnivachanat Sitam Gnatva Vigata Kalmasham. When Sita jumps into the fire, so like I told you, Valmiki builds the story very nicely. He ends the sarga where Sita jumps into the fire, and then there is suspense. What will happen now? So, and then immediately in the next sarga, he doesn't say that Agni Devata appears and Sita is brought back. In between, there is another sarga. In that sarga, so Devatas come and they talk to Rama and things like that. And then you would wonder, but what happened to Sita Devi? And that comes in the next sarga where Agni Devata comes and tells that what the exact words are also being quoted. Vishuddha bhavam nishpapam pratigrinhishwa raghava. So she's pure than me myself. So she's purity herself. So Agni Devata comes and says she's the embodiment of purity. Such Sita, without any doubt, you have to accept her again. So that is the Agni. That is the words of Agni. From those words of Agni, what are those exact words? Vishuddha bhavam nishpapam pratigrinhishwa raghava. So Agni Devata says you have to accept her because she is the embodiment of purity herself. So Pavitrata Swarupinye Tasya Kurmo Namo Namaha. There's a shloka like that from Sharada Devi. So Sita Devi is like that, the embodiment of purity. So Rama accepts because Agni has now given his testimony. So Gnatva Vigata Kalmasham Karmana Tena Mahata Trilokyam Sacharacharam Sadevarshikanam Tushtam Raghavasya Mahatmanaha. By that karma, Tena Karmana means by that act. So the entire, all the three worlds and the devatas and rishis, all of them become very happy. So what is that act? The act of killing Ravana, not the act of Sita Devi going to fire, you know. So Tena Karmana Mahata Trilokyam Sacharacharam Sadevarshiganam Tushtam Raghavasya Mahatmanaha. Raghavasya Mahatmanaha. So Karmana is by, I mean, Raghavasya Mahatmanaha Karmana. By the act of that Raghava, by that great Raghava. Raghava is one who has come in the line of Raghu, so Rama. By that great acts of Rama, the entire three worlds and Devarshis, Devatas, Rishis, all of them became very happy. Babhau Rama Samprahristaha Pujita Sarvadevataihi. So Rama also becomes very happy because he has done what is to be done, and he is also worshipped by all the devatas. So this happens actually in Bala Ramayana. It's told in this order. But what actually happens is, like I told you, Sita Devi enters fire, and then all the devatas come and speak to him, and then Brahma speaks, and so he says, "You are Vishnu yourself," and things like that. Shiva comes, Indra comes, and things like that. And then Sita Devi comes out of fire, and the event happened like that in the original Ramayana. But Narada is narrating the story like this. So Babhau Rama Samprahrishtah Pujita Sarvadevataihi Abhishicya cha Lankayam Rakshasendram Vibhishanam Kritakrityastada Ramo Vijwarah Pramumodaha. So this is where Vibhishana's first time coming in Bala Ramayana. So Vibhishana is supposed to be a great bhakta, we all know that. So Abhishicya cha Lankayam Rakshasendram Vibhishanam Kritakrityastada Ramo Vijwarah Pramumodaha. This we have to see in a little detail, this line. So Kritakrityaha Tada Ramo Tada Ramaha. Rama became Kritakrityaha. Kritakrityaha means what was to be done, he has done it. So when did he become Kritakrityaha? Not after killing Ravana. He became Kritakritya after making Vibhishana the king of Lanka. So his pratigna was up to that. His pratigna did not end with only killing Ravana. His pratigna was that I will make Vibhishana the king of Lanka. So only after that is done, he feels now I have done what I should do. And then Abhishitya Lankayam Abhishitya. That means in Lanka he has made Vibhishana the king. So but there is a chakara in between. So in Lanka he has made Vibhishana the king, means in Lanka also he has made Vibhishana the king. That means that he has already made Vibhishana the king. He has made means he makes Lakshmana, put the crown on Vibhishana's head, so that he has already done before coming to Lanka. He has done that. But then once again, formally in Lanka, he is making him the king again. So recently, I heard this story explained by, you should give credit where credit is due, explained by Vittal Das Ji Maharaj. So he says, he told somewhere in his kathas, I heard that the beautiful explanation he gives. Why did Rama make Lakshmana make Vibhishana the king? So according to Dharma, the rule you might quote, you should be actually saying perhaps, is that Rama is supposed to be in Vanavasa. So in all these what should I say, activities relating to coronation and kingdom and things like that, he's supposed to be away from them for 14 years, and that's why he asked Lakshmana to make Vibhishana the king. That is how I used to understand it also. But then so that Bhagavatar says that he makes Lakshmana make him the king, because then it becomes the act of his bhakta and not he himself. God can transgress on his own word, but on his bhakta's words he doesn't transgress. So we have this beautiful story even in Mahabharata. It comes in Bhagavatam also. So all of you must be knowing the story of Bhishma. In Bhishma, Krishna makes a pratigna that I will not touch any weapon. So he has a pratigna for himself. When these people, so you must be knowing the story, but then I'm going in a little detail because we will finish the sarga today anyway. So when Duryodhana and Arjuna come to seek help from Krishna, so he makes a pratigna that I won't touch any weapon, but I am on one side, all my entire army. So it's called Narayani Sena in Mahabharata. So that Narayani Sena, it's some count, I don't remember. So that Narayani Sena will be on the other part, and Balarama abstains from the war. He goes on Tirtha Yatra and all that. So I'm on one side and all my Sainikas on one side, and I will not touch weapons. So that's the pratigna he makes. And then on one particular day during the war, Bhishma also makes a pratigna. He says that today I will make sure that Krishna touches a weapon. I will fight the war so fiercely. I will try to harm Arjuna so much that even Krishna has to decide that today I will take up a weapon and fight in this war. So the bhakta also makes a pratigna that I will make Bhagwan hold a weapon. But this pratigna is exactly opposite to bhakta's pratigna, you know. So what happens now? Then Krishna decides that okay, my pratigna, it's okay even if I get a bad name, that is all right. Let Bhishma's pratigna stay. So because of that, he takes up a weapon. Of course, so he becomes Rathangapani. So Ratha's anga, one part of the Ratha, which is a wheel, he holds a wheel and goes to attack Bhishma that day. But then Arjuna comes and stops him, saying that but then this is our war, you don't transgress your word and things like that. So here also, so Rama is supposed to be Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda, Chatura. So he knows Sama, Dana, Bheda, and Danda, 4 ways of dealing with a situation, dealing with an enemy particularly. So Sama is by telling him good words. So here the enemy for Rama is Ravana. Okay, so enemy for Rama is Ravana thinks Rama is his enemy anyway. So now he has to tell Ravana that you have to return Sita. What you have done is wrong. So how can he do that? Through 4 ways. One is tell him good words. Suppose he tells good words, but he doesn't listen. So what you should do? You should give him some incentive, dana. So if you do this, I will give this to you. And then Veda is is threatening. So he said, you are not going to do this. I have made Vibhishana the king, mind you. So things like that. So that is Veda, threatening. And Danda is, of course, punishment, eventually killing. So when this Dana comes, when Vibhishana comes to Rama, all of you must be knowing this story, but then I'm repeating. When Vibhishana comes to Rama, so he gives him the kingdom of Ayodhya, and this is a song, by the way, which Tyagaraja writes. So I'm quoting from that song. So the song itself is called Sarasa Samadana Veda Danda Chatura Sati Daiva Mevare. So is there any other god who knows Sama, Dana, Danda, and Veda better than you? Tyagaraja sings. So in that, what happens is Vibhishana is given the kingdom of Ayodhya. Now, after realizing this, so this is threatening. Once he's threatened and Ravana feels threatened, suppose he comes now to take shelter under you, what will you give? So this is the question. So you can only give Lanka once, and you have given it to Vibhishana. Now what will you do? Suppose if you ask, then he says, Tyagaraja says in that song that he promises, if Ayodhya I will give him. I will tell Bharata you give Ayodhya to Lanka, to Ravana. So in that song, that's how it's settled. But Bhagavata Vittaldas Maharaj says that problem should not arise, that Ravana will come and seek refuge. So how can he do that? He will take refuge, he will make Vibhishana, he will make Lakshmana coronate Vibhishana, so that pratigna becomes strong, which is Bhakta's pratigna that he should be Lankadhipati. So therefore that problem should not come, that again when Ravana comes back, I will tell Vibhishana, okay, all that is cancelled, now give back the kingdom to Ravana. That problem should not come. Therefore he makes Lakshmana make the coronation. Anyway, I digressed a bit. I don't know if I could communicate the story as beautifully as I heard it. But anyway, Abhishitya Lankayam Rakshasendram Vibhishanam. So I was telling that Lankayancha Abhishitya. So already once he has coronated him, here again in Lanka he is coronating him to make it to finalize. I mean, now according to rules he is coronating him once again. Kritakrityastada. So Abhishityacha, again you can also say, these are all comments that the Tikakaras are making, mind you. So Abhishityacha, this Chakara can also mean that Vibhishana did some what should I say, some hospitality to Rama, and in return Rama also coronated Vibhishana. So Kritakrityastada Ramo Vijwara Pramumodaha. Kritakrityaha, he is now accomplished, he has done what is to be done. And Vijwaraha means so he was always in this constant thinking that I have made a promise, how do I accomplish it? So that kind of thinking was there, which is Jwara. So that he has lost. So that constant thinking of how should I accomplish this, because I have made a promise. So all those plans that he has in mind, now all that is gone, because he has achieved what he has to achieve. Pramumoda is he is now happy because he is done what is to be done. देवताभ्यो वरं प्राप्य समुत्थाप्य च वानरान् अयोध्यां प्रस्थितो रामः पुष्पकेन सुहृद्वृतः. So देवताभ्यो वरं प्राप्य. So Indra and all the devatas come, and then he takes a boon from Indra. saying that all these Vanaras have died. All the Vanaras who have died in the war, you have to make them alive again. But how should you make them alive? They should come back alive as though they have risen from sleep, as though they are waking up from sleep. They should come back alive. So that is Samuthapya. So he has risen them up, means, or whatever, he has made them rise again, means as though they are sleeping so far. Like that, he takes a vara from Indra, and then using that, and then Indra gives that vara, obviously, and then all these Vanaras come back to life. And after this happens, they start to go to Ayodhya. Ayodhyam prasthito Ramaha Pushpakena Suhradhrita. Suhrad is here. So Vibhishana, Sugriva, and all the Vanaras, they all get into Pushpaka Vimana along with Sita, Lakshmana, Rama. They keep going back to Ayodhya. Again, there is a beautiful story here, which is while going on the way, Rama shows Sita all the places. This is where we built the Setu. This is where I met Sugriva and things like this is Lanka. He shows all of that to Sita. In Sundarakanda, there's a description that Sita is always only closing her eyes. She does not even see the Lanka city. So Lanka city is supposed to be so beautiful that even Rama extols the beauty of Lanka city. But Sita is so great that she did not even look at it. Rama looks at it but is not interested. But Sita is greater. She does not even look at it. So that's how Sita was. So after the war, now that she is with Rama, then Rama shows her, this is where we met. This is what happened. This is where we killed so and so person. He shows Lanka, and then he shows this is where we built the Setu. This is where we met the Vanaras. So Sita Devi will request, so I have a desire that we will meet all the Vanara Patnis. Them also we will take to Ayodhya. So they will land in. It's not like they took a straight flight directly to Ayodhya. They land once in that Kishkindha. So all the Vanara Patnis join them. Again they go, and then what happens? Bharadwaja Ashramangatva Rama Satyaparakramaha Bharatasyantike Ramo Hanumantam Vyasarjayat. So again they take a second landing in Bharadwaja Ashrama. So all the way Rama shows Sita, this is where what happened, and then Jatayu and Shabari and everything he shows, and then they land in Bharadwaja Ashrama. In Bharadwaja Ashrama, so from there he sends Hanuman to Nandigrama where Bharata is. So strictly speaking, in the story of Ramayana, Rama tells him, first you go to Guha, you speak to him, you tell him that, and then he uses for Guha Matsamasaka. I told this before also. Guha is a friend equal to me in stature. So because he's also king and I am also a prince, so we are supposed to be equal in stature. So go to Guha and tell him about my news and tell him what all has happened, and then he will tell you about Bharata. So Rama is of the view that if Bharata has any small desire for him to gain the kingdom again, if Bharata has any small desire to rule over the kingdom, so Rama says these words. In fact, you never know how people's minds change. Bharata might have a slight desire of ruling the kingdom. Even if he has a slightest desire, let him again rule back. So I will go back to the forest. I have no problem in staying in the forest if Bharata is interested to rule. So he tells Hanuman, you go and speak to Guha. Guha will tell you about Bharata and he will show you the way to Ayodhya. Then you go to Ayodhya. You also observe Bharata's facial features. If he's in any way interested in Ayodhya, he tells all these things. So for that reason, he sends Hanuman to Ayodhya. So this is according to the story. Tikakaras have two ways. So Tilakakara himself is telling actually two things why Rama sends Hanuman to Bharata. So one reason could be that if all these people, all the Vanaras and some of the Rakshasas and so many people land at once in Ayodhya, it might be a problem how to welcome these people and things like that. So he sends Hanuman in advance so that some preparations are made for welcoming these people and things like that. That is one reason. Another reason is, Bharata said that even if it is one day late after 14 years, I will I will end my life. So he didn't want that to happen. Because he has landed in Bharadwaja Ashrama, Bharadwaja asked him to stay for one day there. So that one day delay was going to happen. So if that one day delays it will happen, then Bharata will end his life. So he sends Hanuman saying he has come, he's staying in Bharadwaja Ashrama, he will come tomorrow itself, or he's just coming, he's on his way, things like that. So two reasons Tilakakara is pointing out. Here, if you see in the shloka 87, so there is use of word Rama twice. Bharadwaja Shramangatva Ramaha Satyaparakramaha. Satyaparakrama is his parakrama is, or his prowess is something that is always true. That means there is never a loss that Rama sees in his prowess. So he's always victorious, or rather here it means that he's somebody. This is something that we've been saying in the entire in the beginning shlokas at least of Bala Ramayana, that he Satya Pratigna. So his Pratigna is never lost. If he's made a promise, he will see to the end of it. He will fulfill it. So such a Rama. But then you can see the word Rama twice. So Gatva Ramaha and then Bharatasyantike Ramaha 2 times. So one of the Tikakara is telling, so Gatva Ramaha, you can say Gatva and put an Prashlesha there and say Gatva Aramaha. So Gatva Ramaha and Sandhi becomes Gatva Ramaha only, or by Prakriti Bhava, I don't know, have to check. But then Gatva Ramaha is Aramaha here. Aramaha means Sarvalokabhiramaha. That means somebody who makes the entire world happy. Such a Rama. So here Aramaha, not Ramaha exactly, is what Tikakara is pointing out. So Bharadvajashramam gatva Rama Satya Parakramaha Bharatasya Ramo Hanumantam Vyasarjayat. So he sends Hanuman to Bharata. पुनराख्यायिकां जल्पन् सुग्रीवः सहितस्तदा पुष्पकं तत्समारुह्य नन्दिग्रामं ययौ तदा. So after that, after landing in Bharadwaj Ashrama, again they get back into Pushpaka Vimana along with Sugriva and others. So Sugriva is mentioned here. So, but Sugriva means along with all others. Not that these people were brought till Bharadwaj Ashrama and left there. They also once again enter Pushpaka. And while entering, they speak. So Rama is telling, recounting all the previous stories, all that what transpired so far. He's recounting them, and recounting them, he's entering into Pushpaka Vimana. Pushpakam tat samaruhya Nandigramam yayo. So he goes to Nandigrama where Bharata is ruling. Bharata is staying. So he's ruling as an agent of Rama, So Nandigrame jatam hitva bhratrabhis sahito nagha Ramas Sita Manuprapya Rajyam Punaravaptavan. So Nandigrame jatam hitva. Till then he was having this jata, so huge matted locks of hair Rama was having, because he lived a life of a tapas, like a tapasvin. He lived those 14 years. So now that Vratam is over, he gets rid of that jata in Nandigrama along with his brother. So even his brothers are wearing that jata like him, because all of them have decided that if Rama is living like this, we will also live like that. So along with his brothers, all of them get that jata removed. In fact, in Ayodhya Kanda, we will see this entire thing is one sarga only in Ayodhya Kanda. Rama coming back to Ayodhya, and then he getting rid of his jata, and then people welcoming him, he becoming king. All these things, the last Patabhishek sarga it's called. The last sarga is where from Ayodhya he enters Pushpaka Vimana and then reaches Ayodhya. From Lanka he enters Pushpaka Vimana and reaches Ayodhya. So Bhratrabhi Sahito Anagha. Anagha is one who is pure, one who doesn't have any blemish in him. So Rama Sitam Anuprapya Rajyam Punaravaptavan. So Ramaha Sitam Anuprapya Rajyam Punaravaptavan means this Rama, after getting rid of all that jata, now he once again along with Sita, he joins with Sita. So Anuprapya, some Yakyakara is very beautifully saying, so far this form of Rama, Sita was not very happy seeing this form of Rama, of that matted hair and all that. But now that he has got rid of all the matted hair, he has assumed now a form which is very dear to Sita. So he joins Sita once again and becomes the king. Rajyam Punaravaptavan is he gets back the kingdom once again. Rama Sita Manuprapya Rajyam Punaravaptavan. There is something I thought I should tell here, but I forgot. Prahrishta mudito lokas tushtah pushta sudharmikaha niramayo hyarogascha durbhiksha kshayavarjitaha. So Prahrishta mudito lokaha. Lokaha means prajaha. All the citizens or whatever subjects of Ayodhya, they became very happy, and so again see Valmiki uses so many adjectives, all seemingly look the same. So Prahrishtaha, muditaha, pushtaha. So pushtaha is they become again, what should I say? They pushtaha is suppose you lose weight, again you gain back weight. So that is pushti. So something like that. So they have lost their happiness because Rama went to the forest for 14 years, and now that he's come back, they have regained their happiness. So that is pushtaha. So prahrishtaha, again you can say, prahrishtaha, that they don't have any other problems now. So that's why. And then muditaha, I'm trying to find out what the Vyakyakaras are saying. Muditaha Kshobharahityena Antahkarana. So Muditaha is they have no other problems now again to think of, so they are happy. Then Tushtaha is Bahupradad Bhagavataha Samsarika Paramarthika Arthalabhat Tushtaha. So they are now Tushtaha happy because now they have Rama back as the king, and this Rama is capable of giving them all that they require, all the samsarika things and paramarthika things also Rama can give. Therefore, they are happy. Pushta Sudharmikaha. So they have all become I mean, they live a life of dharma henceforth because the king is like that. Then Niramaya, Amaya, I think is mental pida. Yeah, Manaf pida is Amaya, and Roga is physical whatever illness. So no mental illness, no physical illness. Durbhiksha Kshayavarjitaha. Durbhiksha is famine, so there is no famine in the kingdom, and Durbhiksha Bhayavarjitaha. There is no fear of famine in the kingdom. न पुत्र मरणं केचित् द्रक्ष्यन्ति पुरुषाः क्वचित् नार्याश्च विधवा नित्यं भविष्यन्ति पतिव्रताः. So mind you, now Narada has turned to using future tense. So far he has used past tense. So now he is telling drakshanti means nobody will see. While Rama is ruling the kingdom, nobody will see certain things that he will tell. But then this usage of words shows that right now Rama is ruling the kingdom. So that's how we infer. Of course, this becomes a little stronger later when we go to other sargas. You can infer that Rama is currently ruling over Ayodhya while Narada is recounting the story to Valmiki. Na putra maranam kechit drakshanti purushah kvachit. Nobody, nowhere. So kvachit, kechit, kvachit means nobody, nowhere. See the death of their children. That means people die when it is their age to die. So an elder person doesn't see a young man die. That's the idea. So they all have a long life. That is the meaning. न पुत्रमरणं केचित् द्रक्ष्यन्ति पुरुषाः क्वचित् नार्याश्च विधवा नित्यं भविष्यन्ति पतिव्रताः. So all the women also, they don't become vidhava. Means vidhava is a widow, so they don't become widowed. So that means they die before the husband dies. So all these are supposed to be auspicious. So all these auspicious things happen. And bhavishyanti pativrataha, they bhavishyanti pativrataha nahi, vidhava na bhavishyanti, naryascha vidhava bhavishyanti is though nobody becomes a widow, no woman becomes a widow, and then all of them become pativrata. That means they do what is good for or what is pleasing to their husband. So nityam pativrataha, they become, I mean, they are always pativratas when Rama is ruling the kingdom. So in our dharma we hold this, that if the king is dharmika, then the entire kingdom also remains dharmika. There are no unusual deaths or things like that. So some things that we are witnessing these days, we should also keep that in mind. So such things, such unusual things don't happen in the kingdom if the king is a dharmika person. That's why when we say that when you're doing sandhya vandanam and things like that, sort of the Gayatri Japa you do, I think 1/3 or 1/4 of the punyam of your daily Gayatri Japa goes to the king. So and then therefore also king has great responsibility. So he's living on the punya of all his citizens. Of course he's doing his own punya, but his punya is for the kingdom's sake. So because he's living on the punya of all the citizens, he's supposed to be even more accountable, even more responsible. So the entire dharmic system, you can see that there was always a sense of responsibility. So the king was responsible enough, though he was a monarch, he had absolute power, but then dharma binds him to a sense of responsibility. Anyway, nachaknijam bhayam kinchit napsu majjanti jantavah navatajam bhayam kinchin napi jvara kritam tatha nachapi kshudbhayam tatra nataskara bhayam tatha nagarani charashtrani dhanadhanya yutani cha nachagnijam bhayam kinchit. So there is no fear out of fire. That means there are no fire accidents. And napsu majjanti jantavaha. So cattle don't get drowned in Jantavaha means all animals, but then animals are where they are. These cattle sometimes get drowned in water body, so that doesn't happen. So na apsu majjanti jantavaha navatajam bhayam kinchit. So there is no fear of air or wind. So what does this fear of air or wind mean? Maybe it means that there is no fear of airborne diseases, and Navatajam bhayam kinchin napi jwarakritam tatha. There is no jwarakritam bhayam. So jwara can be taken as an upalakshana for all other disease. Jwara means a rise in temperature. So rise in temperature is what we call as fever. So that kind of bhayam also they don't have. And then the next is important. Nachapi kshudbhayam tatra nataskara bhayam tatha nagarani cha rashtrani dhanadhanya yutani cha. So the first is an effect, and the cause for that effect is the second half of the shloka. Achapik Shudbhayam. So this is I am speaking. This is a cause and effect relation. By God's grace, I am telling. I will tell you why. Achapik Shudbhayam tatra nataskara bhayam tatha. There is no fear of hunger, and there is no fear of taskara bhayam is fear of theft. But then why is there no fear of hunger and no fear of theft? Nagarani cha rashtrani dhanadhanya yutani cha. So nobody has to die out of hunger, or nobody has to steal another person's whatever money or wealth or grains, because everything is self-sufficient. Nagarani cha rashtrani. So all the cities, all the states, all the whatever the feudal kingdoms under Rama's emperorhood, all those are subhiksha. There's no durbhiksha, we have seen already. So dhanadhanya yutanicha. So dhanadhanya yutanicha, they have dhana and dhanya. Dhanya is grains. So in economics, we have something called, actually in demographics, we have something called Malthusian theory. So in Malthusian theory, I mean, it was put forth by some demographer called Malthus, Robert Malthus or something like that. So he has this theory that if when population is rising, naturally it gets controlled by these kind of events, where if population is rising so much but resources are limited, so what will happen? There will be all these people killing each other, people, stealing and things like that. That will ensure that the population again goes back. Something like that, he had a theory. I'm telling you in very brief. So that kind of thing doesn't happen. So Valmiki Ramayana has anticipated that perhaps. Nachapi kshudbhayam tatra nataskara bhayam tatha nagarani cha rashtrani dhanadhanya yutani cha. So because all nagaras and rashtra's are filled with dhana and dhanya, I mean, they are self-sufficient. There is plenitude. Therefore, there is no fear of hunger or fear of theft. नित्यं प्रमुदिता सर्वे यथा कृतयुगे तथा अश्वमेध शतैरिष्ट्वा तथा बहुसुवर्णकैः गवां कोट्ययुतं दत्त्वा विद्वद्भ्यो विधिपूर्वकम् असंख्येयं धनं दत्त्वा ब्राह्मणेभ्यो महायशाः. So you will see that later. So 94 and the first half of 95. So nityam pramudita sarve. So all of them are always happy. Yatha kritayuge. Yatha kritayuge tatha means like people were in Kritayuga, like that they are all living a life of happiness. So we have this idea of yugas, which is a Puranic idea. Krita Yuga, Krita Yuga, which is Satya Yuga, then Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So in all these four, Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga is supposed to be the best, where dharma is at its, I mean, everybody is living a life of dharma, so dharma is at its best. In Treta Yuga, dharma loses 1/4 of it. So there is only 3/4 of dharma in Treta Yuga. But then once Rama becomes king, even that situation is not there. So it's as though Krita Yuga has come again. So that's how people are living. अश्वमेध शतैरिष्ट्वा तथा बहुसुवर्णकैः गवां कोट्ययुतं दत्त्वा विद्वद्भ्यो विधिपूर्वकम् असंख्येयं धनं दत्त्वा ब्राह्मणेभ्यो महायशाः राजवंशान् शतगुणान् स्थापयिष्यति राघवः. So Raghavah, Rama, so he does a few things. So what are those things? Ashwamedha Shatair So he does tatha bahusuvarnakaihi gavam kotyutam dattva vidvadbhyah. So vidhi purvakam. So he does Ashwamedha Shataihi. So Ishtva. So he does 100 Ashwamedha yagas. And then why does he do that? So Ashwamedha yaga is done. So just for your information, by the way, Ashwamedha yaga is supposed to be the highest or greatest of all yagas put in the Vedas. So, but then Ashwamedha yagas is only for Kshatriyas. That's how Veda says. But then what about other people, other varnas? Are they not eligible to get the greatest phala? So by Ashwamedha yaga, you get Brahmaloka. So the highest possible result is Brahmaloka, and the highest possible karma is Ashwamedha. So how do you connect them? By the highest possible karma of Ashwamedha, you get the highest possible result, which is Brahmaloka. This is all discussion in Brihadaranyaka Sambandha Bhashyam, by the way. So Bhagavan Bhashyakara says that all other varnas can do a Manasika, whatever form of Ashwamedha Yaga, and that Manasika format of Ashwamedha Yaga is what is given in the very first chapter of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So the discussion comes as to why is this Upasana given here. So Shankara says this is because those people who don't have Arhata in the physical Ashwamedha Yaga can use this Upasana and get Chitta Shuddhi. That's why it's given. Anyway, so he is a Kshatriya, so he does what is the best that he can do, and Ashwamedha is also the greatest of all karmas in the Vedas. So he does 100 Ashwamedha yagas like that, but then he doesn't do it for Brahmaloka, but he does it because he wants to give all these danams to people. So that's why that's what Tikakara is pointing out. So Ashwamedha Shatair Ishtva Tatha Bahusuvarnakaihi Gavam Kotyayutan Dattva Vidvadbhyo Vidhipurvakam. So to these great Vidvadbhihi, so to these great vidushas or intelligent or wise people, to brahmanas, he gives many golden coins, many gold coins, and many cows. How many cows? Koti ayutam. Ayutam means 1,000, I think, and koti is a crore. So 1,000 crores of cows, along with so many golden coins, he gives to these people. Vidhi purvakam. It's not that he randomly gives, okay, you take this, you take that, but according to what is the vidhi. So how much each one is eligible, so much you give them. According to the, in Ashwamedha Yaga, so much danam is mentioned, so much danam he gives. So this vidhi purvakam. Also, there's a story in Matsya Purana. I think I should tell you here. In Matsya Purana, I remember, if I remember rightly, it's in Matsya Purana, or rather, I was told it's in Matsya Purana, that Bhishma does Shraddham for his father, Shantanu. So he does Shraddham to his father. So he's doing that Pinda Pradhanam he's doing. But then he's a great person, Bhishma. So while he's doing this Pinda Pradhanam, Shantanu comes there in his form, and then he puts forth his hand and saying, "You give that Pinda to me." And then Bhishma looks at Shantanu and says, he doesn't say anything. He looks at Shantanu, but then he puts the pindam on the darbha only, not on the hand, because the vidhi is not to put in person's hand. The vidhi is to put on the darbha grass. So this entire story is meant to show that you should do karmas according to vidhi and not to how you like them to be. And this, of course, this rule doesn't apply when you are having great, what should I say, great surge of bhakti. Of course, all these vidhi nishedhas don't work, are not applicable to you. But then karmas, when you're doing for that karma's sake, then you should do it according to vidhi. So that's one story in Matsya Purana. So asankheyam dhanam dattva brahmanebhyo mahayashah. So vidhi purvakam means whatever is according to vidhi, the Vedic vidhi, he gives them. Asankheyam dhanam dattva brahmanebhyo mahayashah. As though it was not sufficient that he gave so much in Ashwamedha Yaga, but then he gives even more wealth, so much wealth he does dhanam to many brahmanas. Mahayashaha is one who has great fame. So that Rama, who has great fame, gives this so much dhanam to brahmanas. Rajavamshan shatagunan sthapayishyati Raghavaha. So Rama establishes many, what should I say, many kingdoms in various parts of India. So something like that. Rajavamshan shatagunan sthapayishyati Raghavaha. So they say in the case of Queen Victoria, so she was at her time the longest reigning monarch of whatever. Back then they had colonies all over the world anyway. So she lived for so long, and she had so many grandchildren, children and grandchildren, that in every royal family in Europe, she had somebody or the other. I mean, her grandchild was married to somebody, or her child was married to somebody, something like that. So she had something to do with every royal family in Europe. So this is also like that. So Rama establishes so many kingdoms in various parts of India, means he has some relation to do with all of them. So चातुर्वर्ण्यञ्च लोकेऽस्मिन् स्वे स्वे धर्मे विनियोक्ष्यति दशवर्षसहस्राणि दशवर्षशतानि च रामो राज्यमुपासित्वा ब्रह्मलोकं प्राप्स्यति रामो राज्यमुपासित्वा ब्रह्मलोकं प्रयास्यति. So चातुर्वर्ण्यं च लोकेऽस्मिन् स्वे स्वे धर्मे नियोक्ष्यति. So Rama ensures that all people do. So the Chaturvarnyas, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras, they do whatever is to be done by them. So he ensures that they do what is to be done done by them. So Niyokshati is he engages them in doing what is to be done by them. So Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha Ramo Rajyam Upasitva. So how many years does Rama live? So Dashavarsha Sahasrani. So Sahasra is 1,000, Dashavarsha is 10,000 years, and Dashavarsha Shatani cha, and 10 so which is 1,000. So totally Rama lives for 11,000 years according to the story. So Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha Ramo Rajyam Upasitva. After Upasitva means, so the Tikakara is telling he ruled the kingdom like it is Nitya Karma for him. So he does it with a sense of dharma. So the ruling the kingdom is Nitya Karma for a Kshatriya anyway. So with that great, what should I say, Pujita kind of feeling, with a great reverence, he rules the kingdom. So having ruled the kingdom like that, because he has done his Nitya Karma so well, he goes up to Brahma Loka. So Brahma Lokam Prayasyati. So this, mind you, all this Narada is telling in future tense. So that means all these things are going to happen. Idam pavitram papagnam punyam vedaishcha sammitam yah pathed ramacharitam sarva papaih pramuchyate. After telling all this, Narada is giving the phalashruti of the story that he has given in these last 3 shlokas. So this Narada is telling the Phalashruti, and then of course Valmiki is incorporating it in his Ramayana. The entire Valmiki Ramayana, you will hardly find places in which Phalashruti is mentioned so explicitly. One or two places only, and one or two places come in Balakanda only. So this is one such place where there's an explicit Phalashruti. What is Narada saying? Idam pavitram papaghnam. So this is a punyam vedaishcha samhitam. So this story, Ramacharitam, is so pure. It is something that removes sins, and it is something that is of the form of punya itself. So punya means it is what would I say? It's auspicious, or it gives punya. So pavitram papaghnam punyam vedaishcha samhitam. So like I told you, so Kanta Sammitaya, I told you all these things. So Vedaishcha Samhitam. So ultimately, all this story is telling what Vedas has revealed only. So the entire, I mean, the import of Vedas will be covered if you study the story of Rama. So this idam here means it can mean the story of Rama itself, or some people want to take that idam means this particular story that Narada has narrated, which is the first sarga. The Bala Ramayana itself is very potent. That if you study it, then your sins are washed away, and then you become a punyavan, something like that. Or you can also take it that Rama's story itself is like that. Yah pated Ramacharitam sarva papai pramuchyate. So whoever reads this story of Rama, like I said, this story means this one sarga or the entire story of Rama itself. Sarva papai pramuchyate. He is freed from all the papas. So this is called Go Bali Vardhana Nyaya. In Mimamsa we say, so cow means it can mean what should I say, an ox, or whatever, a he buffalo and she buffalo. I don't know what's the English term. So cow and an ox also. So but then go Balivardhana, we say, that means Balivardhana becomes a repetition. You need not say Balivardhana if you're saying Balivardhana means a cow which is, what should I say, a cow which is I mean very stout and things like that. I mean a cow that is that is very potent, effective, something like a strong cow. So you need not a strong ox. So you need not say go Balivardhana. By saying Gauhu, you can Balivardhana is included also. The ox is included there. But by saying go Balivardhana, that means you are making sure, even more explicitly making sure, that you mean an ox and not a mere cow. So something like that. So he's telling pavitram, papaghnam, punyam, and then he's telling sarva papai pramuchyate. That means he's making sure. So this repetition is to ensure. So give some, I mean, to put emphasis. This Go Balivardhana Nyaya is to put emphasis so that you will understand quickly the import of what is being told. So here also this emphasis is given by repetition to say that that the study of Ramacharita will remove all your sins. How does it remove all your sins? Because it inspires you also to do your swakarma by how Rama did what is his swakarma despite, or swadharma, despite all the challenges he faced in life. He did what is his dharma. He always held on to dharma. So that has to inspire you, and by that inspiration you will also do what is dharma for you, and by that dharma charana all your papas are washed away. एतदाख्यानमायुष्यं पठन् रामायणं नरः सपुत्र पौत्र सगणः प्रेत्य स्वर्गे महीयते. So एतदाख्यानम् आयुष्यं पठन् रामायणं नरः. So नरः etadakyanam pathan. So this story of Rama, like I said, this means this sarga or the entire story of Rama. By studying this, what happens? So Swarge Mahiyase. So what happens after studying this? So after he dies, this person goes to Swarga. So it gives you so much punya that you go to Swarga after you die. So Pathan, but then it's Ayushyam also. But so if you study it, you have a Dirghayu here in this world also. You live a long life, and then after you die, you go to Swarga. So then Saputra Pautra Saganaha Naraha. So Saputra Pautraha is a person. So Saputra Pautraha can be interpreted to say that along with his sons and grandchildren, and Saganaha means along with all his other, all his other, what should I say, staff and things like that. So all his Bandhu Varga, and then all his people who work for him, and along with all these people, he will die and go to Swarga, you can say, but that's not what is intended, because that's not how people go. You go to Swarga on an individual basis. So the Saputra Pautra Saganaha means a person who has lived so long that he has seen his putras and pautras, that means sons and grandchildren, and then Saganaha, he has seen so much opulence that he has so many people who work for him. Sacha naraha pretya swarge mahiyati. So such a person who has lived for so long because he has studied this life of Rama, which also is supposed to bestow health. So because of that, he lives long, and then after he passes away, he goes to Swarga. पठन् द्विजो वाग्दृषभत्वमीयात् स्यात् क्षत्रियो भूमिपतित्वमीयात् वणिक्जनः पण्यफलत्वमीयात् जनश्च शूद्रोऽपि महत्वमीयात्. So this is Valmiki style almost everywhere except in Sundarakanda. The entire sarga he will describe in Anushtup, and then the last verse he puts in some meter, some other meter. So that is his. I have to check which meter, but then that's his style. He puts a different shloka in the end. Of course, in some chapters in Sundarakanda, he uses longer meters in the sarga itself. So Pathan Dvijo Vagrishabhattvamiyat. If a Dvija, so Dvija can mean Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, but then Mukhya Dvija is Brahmana here. So because the other Dvijas are covered in the other parts of the shloka, so Brahmana reads this story, then he attains mastery of her speech, is how you can translate Vagrishabhatvam. So Vagrishabha is actually in Taitriya you have this mantra Yaschandasam Rishabho Vishwarupah Chandobhyo Dhyamritaat Sambabhuva Samendro Methaya Sprunotu. So there is a mantra like that. So Yaschandasam Rishabha. So the best amongst all Vedic mantras. So here also the best among all words itself. What is that best among all Vedic mantras is Omkara. So a Dvija who studies Ramayana becomes a Brahmagnani, you can say, or you can just simply say by the literal meaning that he attains mastery over speech. And then Syat Kshatriyo Shattvamiyat Kshatriyo Bhumi Patitvamiyat. So if he's a Kshatriya, he gains kingdom. I mean, he gains overlordship of many lands. That means he becomes a famous king. Vanik Janah Panya Phalatvamiyat. Vanik is a trader. So Vanik Janaha is a trader. So this Panya Phalatvamiyat is a very nice usage. Panya means something that you have kept for the sake of earning profit. Okay. So what is that a trader keeps for the sake of earning profit is his goods. So Panya. Panya means the goods that he has kept for trading. And Panya Phala is Phala of Panya. Panya Phala is what is the result or what is the fruit that you get out of those which you have kept for earning profit. So the fruit that you get is profits. That means if the trader becomes so good at what he is by studying the story of Rama, that whatever goods he sells, he gets profit twice or thrice the price of whatever the price is of his goods. So much profits he gets. And then Janascha Shudropi Mahattvamiyat. So even a Shudra who studies Rama's story, he gains great fame. So that is the Phalashruti. So last three shlokas are the Phalashruti for Balaramayana itself, and you can take in general for Ramayana itself. Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane Valmikiye Adi Kavye Balakande Prathama Sargaha Om. So thus we have ended the first Sarga of Valmiki Ramayana. This is called in general Samkshipta Ramayanam or Bala Ramayana. It's supposed to be a nice story. It's a nice text in itself. So people study this thing individually. So we have finished this sarga. We have finished, and we will start the next sarga in the next session. I have a few comments to make on this. Is that because the first sarga of Ramayana, like I said, so Rama has been very influential in our culture. That today, today as in all the people who do some shastrik adhyana and things like that, Rama is the person who's always first studied. For example, anybody who's studying Sanskritam first studies Rama Shabdam only. So Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha. So if you are studying Shabdas, you start with Rama. And then if you are studying Kavya Shastra, you start with Ramodantam or Champu Ramayana. So Ramodantam or Champu Ramayana are stories of Rama, brief stories of Rama. And then even people who are studying astrology, start there. You are supposed to memorize Rama's Jatakam, based on the details that are given in Ayodhya Kanda. They construct some Jatakam of Rama, and that also you're supposed to have in memory, because you will connect with whatever you are studying. That is supposed to be, what should I say, the example that we give when you're studying something, you study using an example. Like that, you study Jatakam by keeping Rama's Jatakam in example. So something like that. So this first sarga also can be used, in my humble opinion, like we use Ramodantam or something like that. The first sarga of Balaramayana also can be used to teach Sanskritam to children. Of course, we also have to learn. and it is something that I also in say on Ramanavami or on Vijayadashami. Vijayadashami, the general practice is to read the Pattabhisheka Sarga, the last Sarga of Ramayana, but somehow I like to read the first Sarga. It's just a personal choice because it covers the entire story of Rama in very brief way. So it's something that all of us can take seriously. From tomorrow onwards, we will proceed with the next Sargas anyway. So, but it's always good to now and then when you are at home and having some time, have a glance at Balaramayana. It's something that it's very sweet. You will enjoy the story of Balaramayana itself when you are studying the other parts of Ramayana. But then, like I said, many stories are directly hinted in Balaramayana. Ramayana is a text that you will really enjoy once you study the entire text once. So you have to finish studying the text once, and then second time when you are looking at Ramayana, you will have a entirely different kind of interpretation to make always. You can enjoy the rasa of Ramayana always because there's a lot of suspense created, and then you can connect back. I mean, let's say, why did Kausalya say like this? Why did Kaikeyi say like this in Ayodhya Kanda? You can connect to that once you finish the entire story and come back and read that again. Then you can, speculate, keeping that in mind, what is what Kaikeyi has said. So these people who give and Adhi kind of interpretation to Ramayana, they also give it by keeping the future story in mind. So something like that. Anyway, we will end our session here, but it's good to keep going back to Bala Ramayana. I mean, personally, not that we will come back to this Sarga once again, but it's good to keep going back to Bala Ramayana once again, as and when you find some time, and now and then. So we will stop here. यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।